We'll wait just another minute. We are expecting some more people to come in. I do have 5:01. I will call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum present. Good afternoon. This December 18th, 2023, open meeting of the Nantucket Planning and Economic Development Commission is convening by video conference pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. This meeting is being recorded. Please be aware that other people may be able to see you and take care not to share your device's screen. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Please silence all phones and devices. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. And a reminder, we are using the Select Board's 3-minute protocol for public comment. Thank you for your attention to that. I'm Mary Longacre, Chair of the Nantucket Planning and Economic Development Commission. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Seth Engelborg?
Here.
Don Holgate?
Yes, I'm here.
Wendy Hudson?
Here.
Steve Iverson?
Here.
Bert Johnson?
Here.
Matt Lowell?
Here.
Barry Rector?
Here.
Joe Topham?
Here.
And we are not expecting John Trudell tonight. As we will find out later, Christy Ferrantella has resigned. So staff, when I call your name, please respond to the Leslie Snell.
Here.
Megan Trudell.
Here.
Mike Burns.
Here.
Nikki Sheriff.
Here.
And Risa Kwame from Mass DOT.
Here.
Thank you all for joining us. Approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda, please, or any comments or questions about it? Bert?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Dave. Roll call vote. Seth Engelborg.
Aye.
Don Holgate.
Aye.
Wendy Hudson.
Aye.
Steve Iverson.
Aye.
Bert Johnson.
Aye.
Matt Lowell.
Aye.
Barry Rector.
Aye.
Joe Topham.
Aye.
And Mary Longacre, aye. Thank you. Public comments. If there are any members of the public present at the moment that wish to offer a comment, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom. And I am not seeing any at the moment. Okay, so we'll move on. Approval of the minutes from October 23rd, 2023. Any comments or questions on the minutes? If there are no remarks, we'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Nat. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Bert. Roll call vote. Seth Engelborg.
Aye.
Don Holgate.
Aye.
Wendy Hudson.
Aye.
Dave Iverson.
Aye.
Bert Johnson.
Aye.
Matt Lowell.
Aye.
Barry Rector. Barry? Barry might be frozen.
Looks that way.
Okay. Joe, do you want to give?
Aye.
Mary Longacre, aye. And Barry, if you can hear us, you might need to exit and re-enter. You're not moving on our screen. All right. Next, looks like Barry is going to exit and come back in, so that's good. Next item on our agenda is the Transportation Program Manager's update. Mike Burns, take it away.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And
Barry has rejoined us. Barry, do you want to say hello just to make sure you're connected? Okay, we'll get a wave. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that was great. That gave me a couple of seconds to figure out how to share my screen. Let me know if you can see this okay.
Yes.
Very good. Two items under the 24 to 28 Transportation Improvement Program. The two items do involve an amendment shown in the packet, as well as an adjustment. The amendment is to remove a project and add a project, and then the adjustment is simply changing a project description. And just to note, the amendment did require a 30-day public review or a public review period. We did an amended public review period, and the adjustment simply needs NPDC action. So regarding the amendments, as you might recall, we are removing fare box collection system replacement of $600,000 and replacing that with $600,000 in two electric bus purchases that will replace two diesel vehicles. This is an image of the e-Jest electric vehicle, which will have lower clearance and approximately a 10-person capacity. On that bus, the staff did have public comments solicited through the Zen City website with support of the town's communication staff. We actually received a lot of public participation through this amendment process, which is very encouraging, and I guess compliments to our communication staff for helping push this out through social media and the platform that we're using now. It's pretty good to use that to collect public comments. We did collect. This says 59 total comments received. That was through the website. You do have a couple of letters in the packet that voice support of electric buses. So probably this is dishonest, and 61 total comments received. We did have overwhelming support, 73% support through the website. We did collect comments of those who did not support the item. Just a summary of the concerns of the 27%. There were concerns with the safety of the batteries, a need for a strategy to produce electricity that would power the electric buses as part of this program, whether that be solar power or some other means. And then there was a couple of comments, I believe, that were received that electricity was not a clean fuel source. And just to comment on that, in the transportation world, when we look at air quality and emissions, for transportation projects, we look at mobile source of air pollutants. That's vehicles driving around or buses driving around and emitting something or nothing if it's an electric vehicle, not necessarily the point source, which is that would be the power plant. Or some other location that was at a fixed location. So regarding this, these bus replacements, because they're mobile source and they're going from diesel down to electric, there's actually a zero emission from the new vehicles, and it's quite a bit of kilogram per unit reduction in CO2 emissions that we needed to demonstrate to DOT as part of this amendment. So, Madam Chair, we did have the public comment period advertised from December 1st through today, December 18th. We are having our public meeting now to solicit any further public comments on this amendment. And we did try to advertise this through a number of different avenues and lead people to the Zen City site. And staff would request that you approve amendment number 1 to the FFY 2024 to 2028 Transportation Improvement Program.
Thank you, Mike. We'll pause and see if any of the members of the public wish to offer a comment on this item. Use the raise hand feature, please. And I am not seeing any hands go up. So any comments or questions from commissioners? All right, if there are none, we'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you, Dawn.
Second.
Thank you, Bert, for seconding. Roll call vote, Seth Engelborg,
Aye.
Don Holgate,
Aye.
Wendy Hudson.
Aye.
Dave Iverson,
Aye.
Bert Johnson,
Aye.
Nat Lowell,
Aye.
Gary Rector,
Aye.
Joe Topham,
Aye.
and Mary Longacre, aye. So a motion to approve amendment number 1 to the federal fiscal year 2024 to 2028 Transportation Improvement Program as presented by the Transportation Program Manager.
So moved. So
Thank you.
moved, Madam Chair.
Sorry, I had Nat, and then some, I didn't catch the second.
I think it was me talking twice.
Oh,
I'll second.
Nat, we love you, but we can't let you. Thank you, Joe. Roll call vote, Seth Engelborg,
Aye.
John Holgate,
Aye.
Judy Hudson.
Aye.
Dave Iverson,
Aye.
Bert Johnson,
Aye.
Nat Lowell,
Aye.
Jerry Rector,
Aye.
Joe Topham,
Aye.
and Mary Longacre, aye. Thank you, Mike.
Madam Chair. The next item on, oops, there's all the public comments that are in your packet. The next item also involves the tip. This, as I mentioned earlier, was an adjustment to the project description. The former value of the project description were facility improvements for propane bus fueling. And as we just discussed, we're not doing propane bus fueling, we're doing electric. So this is to change the project description to facilities improvements, and that's to actually facilitate the charging of the buses. The dollar value does not change. It's $150,000 for those improvements. And also mentioned earlier, there is no required review period, public review period for this, for an adjustment. Our meeting will be today, and staff would request that you approve adjustment number 1 to the FFY 2024 to 2028 Transportation Improvement Program.
Comments or questions from commissioners? If there are none, we'll take a motion to approve adjustment number 1 to the federal fiscal year 2024 to 2028 Transportation Improvement Program.
So moved.
Or second.
All right, I got Dave with the motion and Don with the second. Roll call vote, Seth Engelborg,
Aye.
John Holgate,
Aye.
Judy Hudson,
Aye.
Dave Iverson,
Aye.
Bert Johnson,
Aye.
Nat Lowell,
Aye.
Jerry Rector,
Aye.
Joe Topham,
Aye.
and Mary Longacre, aye. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the next item on the agenda, we previewed this a little bit last month. This is regarding the Safe Streets and Roads for All consulting contracts. As I believe I shared last meeting, I don't recall, but the team that's going to work on the Safe Streets and Roads for All project, at the very, very top, it's the consultant team. We're going to recommend that Kittleson and Associates be the consultant we use for this project. I'll be the program manager and coordinating extremely closely with Beth Giannini at the Franklin Regional Council of Governments and with Bill Vino at the Martha's Vineyard Commission. Their roles will be to liaise with their local stakeholders, and obviously my role is to liaise with Nantucket's stakeholders, but also to be the point person for the consulting contract, since the grant is through through Nantucket. Not to read every date here, but just to let you know, this is about a 3-month process to procure a consultant. At the end of September, we issued an RFP. Here we are about 3 months later to seek action to approve that contract, and you see all the activities to date. I won't note all the tasks on this slide either. There is a very colorful and detailed description of services the Kittleson Associates would be providing that's included in the meeting materials. Highlighted here is just noting that this will all culminate with the submission of final reports to every community, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and Franklin region. We're each to get our own action plan. Madam Chair, as I mentioned, the description of services is in the meeting material. We would ask that we would execute a contract with Kittleson Associates for an amount of $575,000 to be completed by August 1st, 2025. I'll just note that this is through a federal grant and state as well. This Mass DOT is providing the 20% splits, and you've at previous meetings approved both of these agreements with both of those agencies. So staff would request that you authorize the chair to sign and execute the Safe Streets and Roads for All Comprehensive Action Plan Consulting Service Agreement with Kittleson and Associates of Boston, Massachusetts for $575,000.
Thank you, Mike. Comments or questions from commissioners? was nice to get this put together with us in the lead. Makes me feel good. Then we'll take a motion to authorize the chair to sign and execute this Safe Streets for All Comprehensive Action Plan Consulting Service Contract with Kittleson and Associates of Boston, Mass. For $575,000.
So moved.
So, second.
All right, thank you, Bert, for motion and Nat for seconding. Roll call vote, Seth Engelborg,
Aye.
Don Holgate,
Aye.
Wendy Hudson,
Aye.
Dave Iverson,
Aye.
Bert Johnson,
Aye.
Nat Lowell,
Aye.
Mary Rector,
Aye.
Joe Topham,
Aye.
and Mary Longacre, aye. All right, Mike, you got one more for us?
I do. Let me scroll through all this background material. The next item is regarding Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee recommendations. The BPAC has recommended 3 warrant articles, and Joe Topham, feel free to chime in with any type of commentary on the experience of walking through those 3 warrant articles. But just to briefly summarize, and those warrant articles are included in your packet with highlighted new language and struck out language to this proposed to be removed. But one item is to essentially correct the age requirements that are required to wear bicycle helmets on Nantucket. Currently, by mistake, the bylaws say that those over 12 years of age are required to wear a bicycle helmet. This corrects it to 16 or younger. This aligns with the state requirement. It also corrects the standards that bicycle helmets should utilize and increases the fine for not wearing a helmet to not less than $20 nor more than $50. The second warrant article adds this is concerning electric bicycles. This adds definitions for electric bicycle, a class 1 electric bicycle, class 2 and 3 electric bicycle, definitions for each of those classes, and intends to align the definition for a motorized bicycle or a moped with what's already included as a motorized bicycle or moped in Mass General Law, Chapter 90. There's a few references in the local bylaws, but just notice that this particular one in Chapter 375 is a little different than the state definition. So that's meant to correct that. And the third is to utilize these new definitions and actually amend Chapter 57 to essentially add or align Class 3 bicycles. These are the higher performance electric bicycles that go beyond 20 miles an hour with pedal assist, but not more than 30 miles an hour. Align those with the regulations for renting motorized bicycles or mopeds. So keep class 3 in the same plane when it with mopeds when it comes to rental regulations. So the requested action, or the staff is requesting that the NPDC recommend to the Nantucket Select Board that they sponsor these 3 articles recommended by BPAC for the 2024 annual town meeting.
Any questions or comments from commissioners?
Well done, Mike. I don't need to say anything.
Oh, please say something.
No. You did a fantastic job. You covered everything.
Thank you, Joe. Mike, as I understand it, there are additional regulations regarding bicycles that will get a look at a later date. Is that?
Yes, Madam Chair. And this, Joe, you could speak to. We did cover a few different areas that this isn't necessarily perfect, but it's an attempt to. I'm gonna call this baby stepping the process, and let's at least get the definitions set into the bylaws, and then make corrections at other sections of the bylaws at a future date. We talked about a few different areas, and I know, Madam Chair, you had brought up something with the registration or the license plate, or where to fix those on a bicycle, where they should be located. There are a few of those type of issues that, Joe, I believe we discussed those at BPAC, but decided let's just wait till a future date.
Yeah, we did, and it's just really kind of tough to nail it down. And I think honestly, I put it on the seat post would be great. Just tape something on really quickly, but yeah, we have all different views and angles on that, so we're just trying to nail that down right now.
All right, thank you. Bert?
Yeah, question, Mike. How do you tell these faster mopeds, electric bikes from the from the slower ones? Are we gonna have some sort of a plate to put on them, or how's that gonna work out? When I see a bike, how do I know that it's a 10 mile or 15 mile an hour bike and not a 30?
There, there is a requirement in Mass General law that a sticker or decal be affixed onto the frame of a bicycle, noting the class of the bicycle as well as the performance or the ability of the motor. I have a class 2 e-bike. I have a little sticker that says that it's microscopic. It's about a 4-point font, very difficult to read. I think what we're going to work on over this next year, or perhaps even this spring, because we're already kind of coordinating on ways to get better at this, is have perhaps a local sticker that with registration of bicycles. If you have an electric bicycle, you could perhaps get one of the easier to read class stickers to affix onto the frame of the bicycle to supplement that sticker. And this is done in other states. I think California has their own brand of sticker that you can see from a good distance away. That makes it just so much easier to know. And that's what we eventually like to do here. There's not state law or guidance on any of this just yet. It's still, like I said, it's slowly rolling out. But we want to be one of the leaders in this and perhaps come up with our own and incentivize that with a sticker program as part of a registration program locally. This is all to be worked out with the new police chief, obviously. But we are trying to baby step it that way. And Bert, it is so important that we do have clear markings of electric bicycles because class 3 e-bikes are prohibited from using the bike path. So those should be easily distinguished from the class 1 and 2. I'll note that all e-bikes are prohibited from sidewalks and from natural surface trails. Like the land bank is very interested in starting a campaign to educate the public and everyone really, because not everybody knows about these statutes of the class program and that they are prohibited. E-bikes are prohibited from natural surface trails unless they are, explicitly allowed. So I think that's something that I'm sure Conservation Foundation, Land Bank actually have to decide, are there certain trails where these might be appropriate? Are there certain trails we want to exclude them? We want to have a blanket exclusion, exclude e-bikes exclusively from any surface. That's all the part of their own decision-making process. I think they're going to have to go through, but I think the first step is at least making it widely known what this 3-class system is, and that class 3 e-bikes are really the class that might be the concern, since they are the higher performing.
Thanks, Mike. And perhaps some signage needs to be, if this passes, some signage at the beginning of all the bike paths so that these people understand that they're not supposed to be on the bike path, just like the mopeds.
Exactly. And that's going to be our task for, I guess, the next 6 months, working with the communication staff, the Chamber of Commerce, the police department. We're also trying to work with Mass Bike and with the state bike and pedestrian coordinator, because we want to absolutely do these things and make the public aware, but do them in a manner that actually aligns with state law and perhaps incentivize other communities to do the same, so that there's not this heavy lift on trying to educate those who visit Nantucket to say, okay, what is these new set of different laws that you have in Nantucket regarding e-bikes? Try to do it where everybody's pretty much on the same page with these regulations. So that'll be our effort for the next 6 months leading up to next summer.
Thank
Thank
you.
Before we go to Joe, can I ask Raisa to give us an indication? Is this same debate going on in a lot of communities in Massachusetts? Are there other communities that have already implemented laws, or where are we in the pack there?
I think in general, there's been discussions about e-bikes and the possibility of having them and what laws constrain them on the road and how to create a multimodal network that works for e-bikes. So I do think that those are conversations that are happening, definitely.
But not something where people have already figured it out and have a model set of regulations to look at?
So I would have to do more research on that and get back to you for the specific laws, but yes.
Okay, thank you. Joe?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I feel like we're in uncharted waters and we were kind of just trying to, figure out everything. But I do, one of the things we did talk about is going into the school system and educating them and, the helmets and getting the sheriff's department involved, proactive. We're trying to get with the bike communities, et cetera, and really bring this forward. As Mr. Mandel brought forward this article at town meeting, which did pass, there is concern, and some of it is skiers etiquette, bikers etiquette, just letting someone know you're, coming up behind them. Like I have a little small bells on my bikes, and every time I'm on the bike path or coming down a trail, I use it. So I think it's just educating the people as we move forward. So that's what's most important. But I think next year we'll get more bite of this apple. I think right now, get everything in place and then, start walking this forward. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank
you, Joe. Just remembering when I was a kid on Nantucket riding my bike with, using the bell, and it seems like we're coming around to, that level of biking activity again. Yeah, I during COVID, it was amazing. You could just ring the bell, and just a quick story. There was a woman that was in her 90s, and I was ringing the bell, and she was looking around, and then she looked up, and when next thing she saw me, she thought it was an angel ringing to come to get her, and I was like, no, just Joe Todd, I'm just riding my bike. Just want to give you a warning that I was coming because she was walking in Sanford Farm. So it's really helpful just to kind of communicate and de-stress some of this. So thank you. Thank you, Joe. I want to note for the record at 5:25 p.m. Don Holgate had to leave the meeting for another commitment. And so any further comments or questions on the request from the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee? And if not, we'll take a motion to recommend that the Nantucket Select Board sponsor the 3 articles recommended by BPAC for the 2024 annual town meeting warrant.
So moved.
Thank you, Bert. Second?
Second.
I'm sorry, I missed who the second was.
I was Dave.
Dave, thank you. Roll call vote, Seth Engelborg.
Aye.
Wendy Hudson.
Aye.
Dave Iverson.
Aye.
Bert Johnson.
Aye.
Nat Lowell.
Aye.
Barry Rector.
Aye.
Joe Topham.
Aye.
And Mary Longacre, aye. Thank you, Mike, and thank you, BPAC, for that.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So, Mike, that is everything you have, correct?
That is everything. I did include let me stop sharing my screen so you don't see me scroll through this. I did have a report in the packet. I'm happy to answer anything about any items on there. I did write a note to remind myself to just mention to you all, I hope it's all right, Madam Chair, that we did, Mass DOT did secure $372 million for initial funding of replacement of the Cape Cod bridges. I'm very sure that your letters of support that you sent along supporting those projects were very effective in securing some of that initial funding. So just wanted to share that news with you all.
Thank you, Mike. All right, next item on the agenda is the ongoing discussion for the enabling legislation regarding the membership. I do see that we have Christina Jelemy. Christina, if you are here to represent the interests of the land bank, would you raise your hand and just let us know that? Or if you're here as a member of the public, just raise your hand if you have a question at an appropriate moment, but not necessarily right now. All right, I'm not seeing Christina's hand go up, so I will assume she's here on her own behalf as a member of the public. All right, Megan, can you put on the screen the email that you sent out just to remind us where we left off? And Leslie, if you can give us a starting point, I know that we've had some conversations with some of the organizations that we mentioned would represent a sector that we wanted a representative from. So perhaps you can recap some of those conversations for us.
Sure. So after the last meeting, I did speak with the board of the Chamber of Commerce. You all know I'm on the board, I'm your representative, and they voted unanimously to express interest in a seat on the Planning Commission. They would, of course, like more information as that develops, but they were interested and thought it may be a good fit. I'm scheduled, which this may have to shift to Megan, to speak at the Cultural Council meeting on January 8th. Both of their co-chairs expressed initial interest, but they wanted to have a board meeting and they wanted to have someone there to speak about that. So that's the progress that I made. I believe Mary spoke with the Health and Human Services Director, so I'll let her elaborate on that. Did you want me to talk about sort of where we're going, or did you want to wait?
I'll chime in with my conversations first, and then we'll go to the rest of the commissioners for any further reflection. I did speak to Jericho Mealy, the Director of Health and Human Services for the town, and he thought that there would be interest from the Council for Human Services. And we discussed a little bit about some of the overlapping responsibilities between representatives, but he felt that that was something that could be worked out. He wasn't sure if he would be able to attend today because I believe the Council for Human Services is actually meeting right now. But he did say that it would be on their agenda to discuss that opportunity. I also spoke to the land bank briefly to let them know about our progress. And yeah, as we are well aware, they have previously expressed interest in serving in a position here on the NEDC. So those were my two conversations. So we're waiting to hear further results from several of the organizations, but I would say generally the overture was well received. Commissioners, any thoughts or comments on the membership, picking up from where we left off last time? All right, not seeing, yes, Wendy.
I wanted to just bring up or ask a question about something. It's probably unpopular because I know how many of the commissioners feel, but I just wanted to revisit the term limit idea. I know there was a question about it's like constitutionality, but I didn't really think that was accurate, or I personally am in favor of them, and I know that I think in the minority, but I just wondered, okay, maybe we've got an answer.
Well, we don't have term limits on tonight's agenda, Wendy.
Is that not part of what we're like?
No,
How we're
this is the selection of members. So I think that if we want to have that conversation, we should have it on an agenda so that people who are interested in that conversation are able to participate.
Okay, I definitely don't have a clear understanding of how many meetings we're taking to accomplish all these different factors then. So I'm sorry to jump again.
All right. I'm glad you brought it up. Was there another hand up? Okay. So the status right now is, we don't have these oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the planning board. Dave, did you want to say anything about the planning board's conversation? I know that it wasn't a lengthy conversation, but just wanted to give you an opportunity to recap.
Thank you, Mary. I mean, I think the sense of what the planning board decided was that any discussion or debate belonged in the NP and EDC and not necessarily for us to have separately in planning. And any member can jump in if I'm misrepresenting that. We basically, I mean, we talked briefly. We basically decided that any debate should happen here at the NP and EDC, where we all are, and where the rest of the members can be part of that. Is that accurate, other board members?
Yes.
Any other comments from the planning board? Joe?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I would agree with what Dave said. And then the other part of it was, I think we agreed and we thought that there was a lot of very good back and forth discussion, many different perspectives. I think we were all in favor of the direction that this was going, and it was the right thing for Nantucket. So I think that was really important to kind of hash out, was not, breaking down this meeting, but basically, giving a lot of praise to everyone and their involvement and really making it a successful product. So thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Further thoughts on the membership selection? Okay, if there are none, the the discussion of process for updating the enabling legislation, I wanted to have Leslie recap sort of to your point, Wendy, about how long is this going to take? What needs to be done to get us from where we are now to an actual update written out for the enabling legislation? Leslie, if you talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, you're breaking up a little bit, Mary. I don't know if it's our connection in general or my connection or your connection. So I don't know if you all can hear me or not. Can you all hear me clearly? Okay. So I think the commission's done a really great job with getting to where we are, especially in the last few meetings. We started this process quite some time ago, and it's taken a while to get to where we are now. And now there's some momentum, and I think the commission's going in a great direction. I think the next steps would be to, finalize the slate of organizations for the membership. And it sounds like we're almost there. And to Wendy's point, there needs to be a discussion about term lengths. Is there a, maximum term length or not? As far as continuity, do we keep the appointments, or if they change from appointed to elected, do those terms stay the same? Like right now, the planning board members are on for their entire 5-year elected term. The at-large members have a 3-year appointed term. The other members from other groups have a 1-year appointed term. So I think all of that needs, some thought in terms of continuity and practicality. The other thing, once we get through that, I think is, how do we plan a phase out of the current positions, if you will, and to phase in the new ones. That's something that really requires a lot of thought. And I think you may recall in the citizen petition, that was something that kept changing, and people were thinking about, does that really work? Does it not work? Does it really make sense? So I think that's something that the commission members really, really need to think through. Then I think, consider the mission and the vision that you all have agreed upon. That was a lot of work that provided great direction, and that needs to be memorialized in the changes to the enabling legislation. And then next, which I think is, a super important part of all of this, is starting the community engagement, starting to get this out there, starting to make sure that we have a lot of buy-in before anything moves forward, making sure there's a generous public comment period. I think a great example is Mike's work and the commission's work with the long-range transportation plan recently. There were a lot of surveys that went out. There was a lot of public outreach through our community engagement office, through our staff directly handing out those cards, which you may recall, to people in the public. And we had a lot of responses. I think it was around 700. And that to me is really getting people involved, along with having, maybe some open house type meetings, whether at our office or at the, community room with commission members. I don't know how that would work, but, something where, we can say we really took the time to hear from the community, and we really took the time to, implement the feedback that made a lot of sense for the commission. And then finally, moving forward, however that happens and whenever that happens, with a final set of enabling legislation, a final set of regulations to be voted on. So, I don't have a time frame for that. I think it's something that doesn't need to be rushed. I think the commission sees the value in hearing from the community and getting their feedback before moving on. And I think that's something that you really need to consider when you think about how to move this forward.
Thank you, Leslie. I'll note that the 2024 annual town meeting timeline that was adopted by the select board in September, the warrant for the town meeting will be adopted on Wednesday, January 17th. And we are not meeting as a body before Wednesday, January 17th. Did I miss a hand up from a commissioner? Sorry, I thought I saw somebody go. So that kind of lays out where we are now. I'd like to hear from commissioners about how they would like to proceed Thoughts? Seth?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I don't think makes sense to rush something in during the holidays without review and without us meeting to try to meet that deadline. I know sometimes that, the warrant is able to be amended past that date, or if not, I would rather we get this right and shoot for a different year's town meeting, even if it doesn't happen to be 2024. That's my personal opinion. I know there's a lot of community pressure to do it quickly, but personally, I'd rather do it right.
Thank you, Seth. Other thoughts? Dave?
Hi, and I know we've discussed this before, Mary, but I'm 100% in Seth's court. I think that it is very important that we have robust community engagement, that we take time on this and do it right. And I think that it with the timeline for this upcoming town meeting, I don't think it affords us the time to vet it, to understand what the membership looks like and the appointing authorities look like. I think we've done it, or I think that this board has done amazing work in the past few meetings and in their own time, and I think we're very close. But I do strongly believe that it would be best for us and the community if we really took our time and really spent a lot of time vetting this with the community and bringing it forward, not at this town meeting, but at the following town meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Dave. I did hear mention at the last select board meeting that there may be a fall town meeting, so that's also something to be aware of. Joe?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I agree with what Seth has just brought up. I really want to get this correct. And I agree if we can, get public outreach and, do some polling. I think that would be really, really important. I think that more people engaged in that poll that Mike put out than probably were at town meeting for most of the, day 2 or day 1, once the big article gets out, everyone leaves. But I think to be at home, to do it at your leisure, really kind of think about it, add comments. I just there was 3 pollings that Mike just had. So I did that as far as like Tom Nevers and, Five Corners and et cetera, or Pleasant Street. So I really think that we got to get this right. And we just want to make sure that we've got everything, checked out, that everyone's weighed in. And then we can kind of move forward and then put together a really proper article to town meeting. So if that's even where we want to go, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Other commissioners' thoughts? Nat?
Yeah. Hi. I want to go back to what Wendy brought up. Can we clean that up now, or does that need to be?
You're talking about term limits? No, that topic is not on tonight.
Okay. All right. So forget that. Okay. Just checking. So, I agree with what everyone just said. I just want to go back over the 13. We're in agreement with 13 as the total, right? I mean, I think we've got that pretty solid. At the meeting, I think we had a good conversation planning about how we want to, have the 3, but if somebody drops out or possibly an alternate, that kind of thing, we can figure that out, I think. I like the concept of like we've had, like Seth, Andy Bennett was a member for years. Okay. Seth could be the next Andy Bennett. Like, we don't know that, but that's up to them. Okay. That's up to the Conservation Commission. Same with the Housing Authority. Same with the Land Bank, if we get the Land Bank officially on. So, without making things too complicated, and I think we need to stay with what we've been doing, but adding adding different things and keeping it in kind with what we've been doing. The system works really well as far as the appointments go from each individual entity. And the only thing is that large, Mary, is that I still think there needs to be 3, but I'm open to 2 if we need to add something else. I just want to keep 13 as the total. That's all I have at the moment.
Okay. Wendy, did we provide enough background for your question? Just wanted to check back with you.
Thank you. I think so. Understanding that we are not in any kind of like a rushing, this is going to take a good amount of time. I know Barry has his hand up, so I'll just stop there.
Okay, Barry?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I think what I'd probably like to see for next month is maybe we can look at the composition one more time and solidify that, because I certainly wanted to address some of the things now that we've at least come up with an initial layout of what that was going to be. The second thing, which may help to keep us on track, was, after having thought about it, I'd like to at least try to work with staff to develop not an information sheet, but to try to solicit from the commissioners some very specific thoughts about the things that we're talking about now for each one of the things that are on this list. So, and then compile that information into something that the entire board could review to maybe help refine the process of what we're going to talk about. So it asks questions like, for that one particular board, whether it's elected or appointed, the form of how they come on board, and maybe also put in the fact of whether there should be term limits with each one of these as well. So, but at least develop some baseline questions that we can funnel out to each one of the commissioners, get that information put into writing, and then be able to disseminate it back out for next month, so that we can have a bit of a fruitful discussion and take it from there. I also agree too that a public comment period would be invaluable for this process as well too, at least a minimum of 60 days worth of public comment to make that happen as well too. I'm a very big fan of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. You and I are thinking along the same lines, which does happen. I was going to ask Leslie to send out the questions as food for thought for commissioners. We certainly need to keep this process moving with the momentum that we have. Wendy, back to you.
Thank you. Yes, I just I'm thinking back to some of the very successful public outreach, of a while back, and how we were able to like all the work Jenny Garneau did, maybe hiring that person. I know Rima Sherry has been helpful in the past. Like make sure that we really scratch every surface to engage, and because we absolutely want as many public voices as possible. And I love that if we could do that before, and I'm optimistic because I'm hearing this, that we're going to do that before really solidifying some of these things. I also don't want to lose track of this notion that we had in there of some ad hoc committees or whatever we call it, like the bicycle and pedestrian. I mean, how effective was that we just have some stuff on the warrant that's so timely and important? So a few more groups like that, I think, could be super effective, help with the long range planning. I know that sort of, you guys say, is more under the planning board. I always kind of thought it was a lot of what we do here. So, but we all do it together, and the more the merrier. So thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Barry, you had something else?
Bert's had his hand up for a bit there, actually.
Go ahead, Bert.
Yeah. I'd like to, we mentioned it a while back, to see like the DPW director, the sewer department director, and the water department director come in once a quarter and report about any projects that they have coming up down the road, so that all that stuff gets coordinated and we know what's going on.
I appreciate that, but we're getting a little off topic I'd like to keep the discussion, focused on what are we doing next with the enabling legislation update.
Mhm.
I thought we were talking about the number of members we have on the new board.
Yes, but then we started talking about subcommittees and now we're talking about speakers. And so I think that's getting a little too far afield for what we're trying to talk about tonight. I appreciate that. It is something we want to keep in mind for sure. So further thoughts on the progress for an update to the enabling legislation? Barry?
Yeah, no, just when the opportunity arises, I mean, and maybe you'd like to join me on doing it, but I'd certainly like to work with Leslie in terms of just maybe scoping out what some of those questions would be to the commissioners in terms of the process. So just to get that out there. Thanks.
Okay, so at our January meeting, we're anticipating at the moment that we will have further discussions on the membership and on some of the specific details about how those seats will be filled, and how those that new relationship between all of the commissioners, assuming that this legislation is eventually passed, would come about. Further thoughts or questions on the process that we're undertaking here? Bert?
Yeah. Have you spoken to the land bank or any of these other entities that aren't on our board now, and we're talking about bringing them on, whether they're interested in doing it?
Yes, we covered that already, Bert.
Yeah, but I didn't hear anyone say that they'd gone and talked to them and they said yes or no.
Yes, Leslie spoke to the Cultural Council, or is speaking to the Cultural Council. I spoke with the Director of Health and Human Services and the Land Bank, and Leslie also spoke to the Chamber, and we were generally well received by all organizations.
Thank you.
Wendy?
Yeah, I guess I thought just for practical next steps, maybe we shoot for having a calendar, and maybe perhaps by our next meeting, we might have a more clear indication whether that special town meeting in the fall might happen. Because I think ideally that would be the great communication to keep up our momentum and keep up our, good faith with the community that we're actively engaging on this, and want their input. We're not just punting it past April or May or whatever this one is. So maybe we just work on a schedule when these certain things happen, and that, because I think homework is always great.
Thank you, Wendy. It's a good suggestion. Further thoughts? I'm not seeing any there. So the next item on the agenda is the review and approval of the fiscal year 23 annual report, which Leslie prepared for us. Dave? Dave, you have a hand up?
Oh, I think you have a hand up in the public.
I'm aware of that. I was not taking public comment on this agenda item.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Barry, you have a hand up?
Sorry about that. Just regarding the report, I just kind of looked it over again today. I've got some feedback I'd like to supply, so that should go to Leslie, under which to do it. I would take it, correct?
No, we need to take care of this tonight, Barry. The report is designed as soon as possible.
Okay, just a comment at this point. When we develop agendas like this in the future, it's really important then that we denote said timelines and stuff. This having been just put on here with being somewhat amorphous, I find it a little bit troublesome at this point, because there were some things in there that I honestly thought should have been cleaned up. So I'd like to encourage with our agendas that we be a little bit more specific with information at times.
Thank you, Barry. Megan, can you put the report on the screen?
Nikki, do you have that handy? Thank you.
We're looking for the annual report, not the spreadsheet. So I want to get that report on the screen so that we can make any edits that we need to make.
I'm just going to quickly
Leslie, you're muted. Yeah, there you go.
I'm
And
quickly
I
just,
may be having some internet trouble. I apologize if it's me causing the problems.
I'm going to quickly just communicate with Nikki offline to tell her where the Word version is, so we have that up.
Okay. So there was one element that was pointed out that we mentioned Andrew Vorse's retirement, but not that Leslie Snell was appointed to the position of director. That position was not effective until July 1st, which was after the fiscal year, but the appointment was made prior to that. So I think it would be appropriate to include it. Nikki, we're seeing your Windows File Explorer, not seeing it.
Mary, can you see the Word version on?
No,
No.
we're seeing your file directory with a list of all the files.
And while Nikki's looking that up, I did have one correction that was pointed out by Ms. Rayport, a member of the public. The report noted that the FLAP grant was awarded in an amount of approximately 2.2 million. That's the total FLAP grant award, and we received about 900,000 this past fiscal year. So I'll make that correction in the report.
Nikki, thank you. We are seeing the report on the screen. Appreciate you bringing that up. Barry, is there a particular place you want to start?
Let me go back through my notes. Yeah, first of all, let's stay within the first paragraph, the last sentence. It's kind of a run-on sentence. And it becomes a little bit unclear where it says County Commissioners, Nantucket Housing Authority and Conservation Commission. And they also, that really probably should be two split sentences.
So Barry, may I respectfully request that we don't get too fine-tuned in the editing?
Yeah, but Madam Chair, you're saying we need to get this done tonight. And so here we are. There was no indication whatsoever on the agenda that this was due to
Actually, there is, Barry. It says approval of. So that
Sure.
is an indication that it needs to be approved tonight.
You know, Madam Chair, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you at this point.
Understood.
You know, it's, yeah, review and approve. Okay. I think things need to be clearer in the future. These somewhat amorphous agendas at times are becoming somewhat problematic. So I'm going to not say any comments at this point because apparently we don't want to hear any, according to the chair. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Barry, if there are edits of substance to the report, I would be happy to have you call them out. Also, any other commission members are welcome to point out something that they would like addressed. Nat?
No, the end needs to get fixed. Flip mine and Dave's. I mean, I know that's just a typo, but.
I'm sorry, Nat, can you direct where?
The end, where it lists the names.
Oh, at the very end.
Yeah, no big deal. I messaged Leslie about that earlier.
Oh, that you're not the chair for this
Right.
year. Got it.
Right. Yes. Right. And Joe is vice chair, although I know that this fiscal stuff is complicated. So, oh, I see what you're doing. Yes, you wanted to make sure we have the planning board members in their current positions. Is that what we're doing?
So Nikki,
that's what I assumed.
Yeah, Nat, please hang on for a moment. Nikki, Joe Topham is not vice chair of NP and EDC. He's vice chair of planning board. So we need to move that designation to within the parentheses for the planning board. So we have correctly listed the chair and vice chair of NP and EDC. I don't know that we need to indicate the positions of that people hold on the planning board. I don't think that that's relevant.
I think you're right about that.
Leslie?
I think it was a cut and paste because Nat was the chair of the NPEDC as of the last report. So when I moved his name down, I just forgot to delete chairman.
Okay, so so Mary's right then, Leslie. We don't need to have that. We just have the chair and vice chair of the commission. That's it. Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Nat. Other comments from commissioners for items that may need to be corrected? Nat, your hand is still up. I'm assuming.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry.
Barry?
Yep, let me try again. So there are certain areas in here that are a little bit amorphous as well too. When it came to Paula Leary, and her notification here says who retired after many years. It would really be nice if we could put how many years it was, because the term many years gets a little bit overused in that one sentence. So I think that should be a very easy find to see how many years she served the town and be able to put it in there. And maybe where
you have it, it's the next to last paragraph there.
That's correct. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Just to research it. And that way you'd strike that phrase many years and
Okay.
okay. Yeah, well, we can work that out tomorrow. The other thing too is just the notation where Andrew retired at the end of the FY.
Oh, right. We're missing a year there.
Yeah, or it should just say at the end of FY 23 or something like that, or just something to that effect.
That's correct. Thank you, Barry.
That way it's a little better cleaned up, I think. It's just some of the stuff in here was a little repetitive at times, and I was trying to eliminate repetition in this process, but I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you. Other comments or questions from commissioners? Nikki, would you put a note to add the recognition that Leslie Snell was, I think it was unanimously appointed to director following Andrew's retirement? Anything else? Leslie, you're fine with those edits? Seeing a nod.
Yeah. If anyone has any typographical type edits, just send them to me and I'll make them before we send it in.
Thank you. All right. If there's nothing else, we'll take a motion to approve the annual report with the edits discussed tonight and any typos fixed to be submitted to the town of Nantucket.
So moved.
Thank you, Bert. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Joe. Roll call vote, Seth Engelborg,
Aye.
Wendy Hudson,
Aye.
Steve Iverson,
Aye.
Bert Johnson,
Aye.
Nat Lowell,
Aye.
Barry Rector,
Nay.
Joe Topham,
Aye.
and Mary Longeker, aye. We have one. All right. Next item on the agenda, are there any other committee reports from members? All right, we're not seeing any. Next item is the acceptance of the resignation from the NPNEDC by Christy Ferrantella. We'll take a motion to accept that resignation and send a letter of thanks. Barry, before you make the motion, do you have a comment? No.
I'll make that motion too.
And I'll second it with that letter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barry. Roll call vote, Seth Engelborg,
Aye.
Wendy Hudson,
Aye.
Steve Iverson,
Aye.
Bert Johnson,
Aye.
Nat Lowell,
Aye.
Barry Rector,
Aye.
Joe Topham,
Aye, and good luck,
And Mayor
Christie.
Longacre? Yeah, and Mayor Longacre, aye. Next item on agenda, so we will be advertising and accepting applications for the open at-large seat through January 15th. Those letters of interest can be sent to Megan M. Trudell at nantucket-ma.gov. And will be advertised in the Enquirer and Mirror as well. And I think we're going to do a little bit of extra work through social media and the town's communication office. I believe that's correct, right, Leslie? So hopefully we'll get a robust suite of applicants. I had mentioned when I talked to the land bank that certainly any of the organizations that we are interested in having representatives on the NPNEDC, anyone affiliated with those organizations could apply to be an at-large member. It'd be a way for them to get a jump start on their participation, and I'm sure we welcome that perspective. Although, of course, it depends on the pool of people who apply and the decision of the commissioners. So certainly no guarantees that anybody with any particular affiliation would be selected. Any other comments on the open at-large seat advertising selection process? If there are no questions, we'll move on. Just an item of information. So the bill Senate 1315, an act relative to municipal equity in the Steamship Authority operations, received a public hearing on December 5th at the Joint Committee on Municipalities and Regional Government. And there's a link there to view the hearing if anybody is interested. And then our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, January 22nd at 5 p.m. on Zoom. And I believe, Leslie, unless there's anything else, that is it. All right, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Bert. Second?
Second.
Seth, I saw your their light blink on there. I'll take you for the second if you don't mind. Roll call vote, Seth Engelborg,
Aye.
Wendy Hudson,
Aye.
Dave Iverson,
Aye.
Bert Johnson,
Aye.
Matt Lowell,
Aye.
Barry Rector,
Aye.
Joe Topham,
Aye.
and Mary Longacre. Aye. Thank you all, and watch for that email from Leslie with questions to consider for the next meeting.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas,
Thank you.
everyone.
Happy holidays.
Same
everyone.
to you all. Take care.